Yo, what's the deal, man? It's your boy Deuce Thomas on the sit down, episode 2. Right here with my boy Kelly Eco, man.
Yes, sir.
Kelly Eco right here, man. Journalist for the Rockets, work for athletics. And I just want to get right to it, man. I just want to get right to it, raw, uncut. I just
Yeah.
want to just go straight forward, man.
Yeah.
It's Kelly Eco frontlining the media face new media war.
Man.
Where are you from, man? Which one you claiming, man? You claiming the new media or you claiming the media, man?
I'm a bit of both. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, you can't. But you can't.
Nah, you gotta be a bit of. Okay, if I'm gonna pick a side, I'm gonna pick new media.
No, you new media.
But in the sense that, the old media is kind of the awkward journalists asking the random questions and the players kind of getting distant and kind of confused. But me, I'm more of a guy that likes to build those friendships, those relationships within the locker rooms, front and center, because that's how you get the best stories. That's how you get the best content. So, and I tell people all the time, I don't work for TMZ, so I ain't trying to get, I'm not trying to get no scandal, get you slipped up. I'm just trying to tell good stories, be a good person, do my job. So, if that's new media, then so be it.
Because it seems like the new media is, in my opinion, it looks like just the players are new media, is it?
Yeah, and that's because at some point, as a reporter, as journalists, our job is to tell stories, but can't nobody tell your story better than you.
Yeah.
So you've seen guys like Draymond Green, guys like CJ McCollum, guys like JJ Redick take that into their own hands and tell their stories how they want to be told, because that's the first person to count. And they get to control their narrative. They get to control, things that they want to get across. And I think from that perspective, it's a good perspective, because you get to see kind of how the players deal with stuff. Because for so long, in today's day and age, everything is clickbait. Everything is who said what, when, where, and why.
Yeah.
But now you're seeing these guys take things on themselves and kind of say, this is my story. This is how I want to say it. So I think that's a good thing.
So how did this whole deal start, though? Like, it just came out of nowhere. I don't know if it was because of Draymond, JJ Redick. Because it seemed like the leaders of new media, in my eyes, is KD, JJ Redick, Draymond Green.
Yeah, so I guess it started kind of the first take thing.
JJ Redick, basically.
Then, you have Stephen A., you got Skip, you got, Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
Guys that are on TV every day, but, they give their opinions. They're very strong, opinionated guys.
Yeah.
Very educated guys. But after a certain point, it's TV. You got to sell something.
Oh, okay.
So if certain people don't like what certain people are saying, you got to look past it, because there's a reason behind it. It's not that saying that Stephen A. or Skip, they actually feel like that, but it's a business at the end of the day. So you got to sell something.
So you think the players, they're just tired of just always just getting critiqued for the littlest thing, like Shaq telling KD about a bus, talking about you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I think the players are getting just tired of the older guys always critiquing them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kind of like never showing love and stuff like that. So, yeah, the new media face media deal is really interesting. I've been really keeping up with it. But the fast forward to that, man, let's talk about you, man.
Yeah.
Journalist for the Rockets.
Right.
You work for Athletic. First things first, man. How you feel about Jabari, what's his name again?
Jabari Smith.
Jabari Smith. I almost think Jabari Parker for some reason. How you feel about Jabari Smith, man? Was that a good pickup for the Rockets? Was that the perfect pick for the Rockets? Should have been somebody else? Is he the right guy to push that narrative? Is he the right guy to make the Rockets go back to that playoff contending team, man?
I think we'll see. I think, first and foremost, everyone thought for a long time that Jabari was going number 1.
Yeah.
You heard all the scouts, all the people I talked to, people around the league that thought that he was going to be for sure the number 1 pick, because at 6'10", two-way player, crazy shooter, it's everything you want in a player, and is a team-first guy.
Yeah.
At some point, the Rockets kind of fell in love with, Banchero, because he can score from anywhere on the floor. 6'10", he's big, got size, can play off of Jalen Green. 2 guys to build for the future. Now, obviously, when draft night came and the Magic shocked everybody and took Paolo, now people are gotta, oh wow. But in Jabari Smith, he's someone that the Rockets want to be a good defensive team at some point. That's going to be your first building block. He's 6'10", he can switch 1 through 5. He's a 40% three-point shooter. Summer League was kind of up and down because he was nervous. He had to play the 5. The guard play wasn't the greatest in trying to get him shots. He still has ways to develop in terms of creating his own shot, handling the ball, playmaking, stuff like that. But as the games went on, he played more confident, got his shot going.
Yeah.
The defense was crazy. You saw that.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave the coaching staff a lot of confidence going into training camp and the preseason that this is a kid that's going to be something special. You just have to have the right development, the right tools around him, and the right system. So I think in Houston, under Steven Silas, under John Lucas, shout out to the OG, you got two people that are development-oriented, and they want to see those young kids grow. So now it's all about putting the right tools in place to make that thing a reality.
Yeah, man, because the Rockets last year, man, they stunk it up, but it was expected. They got a young team, man. And, you know, I think the biggest thing everybody always say about the Rockets is they just don't have no veteran player like in the locker room that can control the young crowd. You know, because you look at the Rockets, they're kind of like they're a very young team.
It's like an AAU squad.
Yeah, so you need that OG in the locker room. I'm not discrediting Eric Gordon. I'm not saying he's not a veteran, but you need somebody who's been there before. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's the problem. People always be like, man, the reason why a lot of those young guys are like why they like who they are is because there's no OG in the locker room that can, you know, set things straight. So what do you think, man? What's the prediction for next year coming up with the Rockets, man? You know, are we gonna at least play in the playing game, man?
The playing is a stretch.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is there gonna be moves being made with the players?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So I think for those guys heading into next season, the biggest thing is improvement. They won 20 games last year. I think the Vegas over-under was like 26.5, but that was well under. But if you go back to last season, they were in a lot of those games, like late. I think their record in games inside about 5 points less was kind of like, it was bad, but it's enough tape to show why they lost those games. You know, poor decision-making, poor shot taking at the end of the day, bad defense. That's a young team. Those are characters of a young team. Going into year 2 of the rebuild now, the thought is, you know, Jalen Green's going into year 2.
Yeah.
Kevin Porter Jr., another year under his belt. Jabari Smith, Jayshawn Tate, those young guys. Can you put together, you know, more confidence, more string of games, close games, you know, clutch situations, playing, if you want to look at the Pelicans last year as an example, a team that wasn't supposed to be good, they got hot late, made the play-in. I want to say the win threshold, they got to win at least 30 games if you want to be even considered for the play-in. That's a 10-game jump. That's a lot of improvement.
Yeah.
Can they get there? I don't know. You know, anything can happen in the season. Injuries, you get hot, a trade happens. But where the Rockets are, from what I understand, they want to preserve that cap, you know, for next summer.
Oh.
You know, John Wall's coming off the books at that point. Eric Gordon will be gone. Then you start to be real players in free agency because, you know, Houston's a prime destination. You know, you got the food, you got the nightlife, you got everything. So you got the no income tax. That's kind of their plan long term to get back to where they were. You know, to have that cap space.
Are they going to cut my dude Silas some slack though? It's like
that's the thing.
It's like, man, it's like I kind of feel bad, you know, for him because it's like it ain't his fault what he got going. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like, man, are they going to let him coach the whole remaining year next year? Are they going to give him a shot next year, man? Anything can happen. We seen the Suns be just like the Rockets, and they was in the finals a couple years ago. Are they going to trust the process with Silas, man?
That's the biggest thing, and I think this is the last year of his deal. You know,
Praying.
They just added 3 new assistant coaches on the bench, but they're all 1-year deals. You know, for a young team, the most important thing is consistency, stability, foundation. Steven came into this team expecting to coach a veteran team with Russ and James.
Hard. Oh, I remember that.
We can get to that later. but he came into the situation expecting to take a team to the playoffs consistently. And on his head, it got flipped overnight. He had to adapt on the fly. He had to coach all these young kids. And his whole career, he's been around veteran, older teams. Dallas, Golden State, Charlotte. You know, so I think a lot of times people don't give him enough credit for the job he had to do because it's hard. Like, winning in the NBA is so hard, and it's even harder when you don't know what your team looks like on a day-to-day basis. Go back to last year, they were signing guys off the street for 10 days. If you had a post 10-day, there's so many injuries, so much inconsistency. Now, last year, you got to see him actually get to put a plan in place, open the playbook a little bit more. He wants to open it more come training camp now, because he's an X's and O's guru. Like Steven is, he knows his stuff. Like, but it's hard to teach kids the game of basketball. It's hard. It's a pro game.
Yeah.
And you got to make sure 15 guys in the roster all know what the fuck they're doing. So that can take some time. And you're going to see sometimes ugly basketball. You're going to see sometimes defensive breakdowns because they're still learning and processing on the fly. So it's going to look like it. So I do think people should cut him some slack because he knows his stuff. People, they make it seem like he doesn't know what he's doing. He's in over his head. No, that's not the case. You're teaching kids. Like, if you've ever been a manager or something and had to teach people, train people, that's hard.
Yeah.
So give people some slack. It's a real life thing. So.
Speaking of kids, one last about the Rockets.
Yeah.
KPJ, man. Like, are the Rockets, are they going to give him another chance, man, this year? Are we going to see him through the year as a Rocket? Or are they going to, shop him? Because I think, personally, I can see him being traded, man. I can see him being traded. I think KPJ is a talented kid, man. I just think he needs to be around winners and veterans, like a Golden State, a Brooklyn Net, people who are older, who have been there that can tell him, you know what I'm saying? But I think him being around a younger crowd, younger team, I just think we just can't see the full potential of him, man. What do you think? What's the future like for KPJ? What's his stats going to be next year? Is he going to be locked in, or is he going to have, not anger problems, but is he going to be, flustered and stuff like that, man?
I mean, it's all going to depend on if he gets that money before the season. Because they have until, if they don't get a deal done before the season starts, it's going to be restricted free agent. And, that might be a problem. I think he's a talented kid.
Yeah.
He's been asked to do a very hard thing, which is to change to a point guard. I still think he's better served as a wing creator, like someone that can create on the wing, like a Iggy type player, like something like that, like a slow-mo. But I do understand your point about him being better around older guys, and that's kind of why they brought him to Houston, to be around John Lucas, to be around Eric Gordon, someone that you can watch and set an example, because we all know, like, it's hard to develop guys and also have to worry about someone learning a new position. That's two different things you got to do, because the Rockets didn't draft Kevin Porter. They got him for a second-round pick out of Cleveland, where it was a toxic situation. We saw what happened in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
Coming to Houston now, you want in the perfect world, you want to build around those two guys in the backcourt, Jalen and Kevin. But I think this year is going to tell you if that's feasible, because to end the year last season, they played great together. They were cooking 30 points a game, whatever. How much of that is going to carry on to next season? He's going to play. He might be, because it's two. It's either he's playing for a contract, or he already got the money, and is either going to show you why you gave him the money, or just going to coast. And we've seen NBA players do both.
We've seen it. Yeah, we definitely seen players get paid, and the next year they chilling. They just big chilling, man. But so so let's talk about you for a quick second, man.
Right.
Your story, man. You're a journal. You journal. You do media, Rockets, The Athletic. Just talk about how that all happened, man. You know what I'm saying, from the beginning to now, man. Because now I felt like since I've talked to you before, but I feel like now you're like one of them ones though when it comes to the media side. You know what I'm saying? Like when you break news, when you tweet, people are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so how does that feel though, man? Like, talk about the whole story.
It's crazy because I didn't realize that this was my passion until I started doing it. So I was in school, I was at UT, and I originally went there for, Africans, we got, I was supposed to be an engineer at one point, I wanted to be a doctor at one point, I wanted to be a lawyer, economics, and then I was in class one day, and it was like a career building class, and our job was to figure out what we wanted to do after school. So they put us in groups. Our job was to write what we liked on paper, give it to somebody else, and they give us suggestions. So it was me and some white girl. And I wrote sports, I wrote storytelling, I wrote numbers, and I gave it to her. And then she read it, she was like, would you ever consider being a journalist? I was like, no. Because I didn't think, one, it was an industry that made a lot of money. Two, it was too hard to break in. It was a white man's game. Three, it wasn't gonna be fun. So I said, no way. But then she was like, just try it. You never know. So I went home after class that day. I went online, looked for a blog or two to write on. I sent a bunch of emails. I got a bunch of no's. I always keep my no's. Always keep my rejections. One person said yes. Space City Scoop was like a blog. Shout out to them. So they gave me a chance to kind of write game previews. Just a little stuff here and there. Kind of get my feet wet. I did that more and more. I think that was 16, 17 season, the year that James, the whole Spurs, whatever.
Yeah.
So that summer, I was looking for an internship. I ended up finding one at a radio station in Houston, ESPN Houston. But they wanted me to be a radio intern, do radio stuff. I didn't want to do all that.
Yeah.
I wanted to write still.
Okay.
So I reached out. I was like, can I write still? Can I do something on social media? Can I? He said, yeah, cool. So I was doing podcast segments, reviews. I'll write it up. I was still doing my blogging on the side. But my first taste of NBA experience was there was an event at the Toyota Center. And for some reason at work, there was no one at work that day, just me and my program director. And he was like, Kelly, do you want to go cover this game? I was like, hell yeah. So he gave me the phone to stream on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go work under somebody. And that was the day that the Rockets got sold to Fertitta.
Okay.
That was that day. So, I'm in this room with a bunch of reporters I don't know, people that have been covering the game for years.
Yeah.
I think on Twitter I have maybe 200 followers on Twitter. So you got to think about it. People are like, who the hell is this? Who's this kid in here with the camera? Who the fuck is he? What are you doing? So after that event, I got more and more praise on how I carried myself, and I got more opportunities. But mind you, I'm still going to school in Austin. So as the season is starting, they said, look, we won't give you a credential for the games, but if there's space, you can come and cover a game. So I would leave class on game days, sometimes in Austin, 4 or 5 o'clock. Drive to Houston, get there at 7:30. Go cover the game. And mind you, at the game, they sit me in the behind the nosebleeds. I ain't sitting on the floor, I'm sitting in the nosebleeds.
It's free?
Yeah, but
it's free,
I'm working. Yeah. It's free, but I'm in the building, so I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
Just get me in there.
About to say.
And then after the game, you go do your stuff in the locker room.
Yeah.
I will do that, leave at 11, go back to Austin.
Damn.
Get back Austin 2 in the morning and do that 2-3 times a week.
Damn.
So I'm grinding, and at the same time, I'm trying to build contacts, trying to build relationships, and mind you, at the same time, in the locker room, everyone will go talk to Chris, go talk to James. I'm not going to them. I'm going to the young guys.
Yeah, because they going to talk.
They're going to talk
They
to
gonna
me.
talk. Yeah.
And then the more they talk to me, the old guys are going to be like, oh, who is this guy and why they trust him? Let me go talk to him.
Yeah.
So I went that route. So I did that for a season. That was the year that they won 65 games and they lost in Game 7.
Yeah.
So my news break was the Capella extension. So I'm in the barber chair. I'm getting my hair cut.
Yeah, I remember that. Sleep talking?
I get my hair cut. I get a text saying, from a source saying Capella agreed to extension.
Huh.
And I put that shit out. At the time, I didn't know that Woj hadn't put it out yet. And you know how Woj is like.
They get it.
Him and Shams. Shams, and that's my bro.
Yeah.
At the time, I was working for a different blog, Good Today. I put it out 8 minutes before Woj did.
Ooh.
And in the NBA world, that's a lifetime.
Ooh.
So they're like, who the hell is this guy? and then Amin El Hassan, I got a shout out on ESPN. He said shout out to Keliko. And now people's like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Let me follow this guy.
That's how Twitter is, man. If you're a source, if you can break news, they will follow you. It's pages I follow on Twitter that just break news, not just for sports, but just for anything. Yeah. So that's crazy, man.
So I after that, the Athletic came calling.
Ooh.
And they were coming to Houston.
New bag alert.
And they told me we want you to cover the Rockets, but we want you to be somebody's number 2 guy, to work under somebody.
Yeah.
That was their plan, but they couldn't find nobody to do this all by myself.
Ooh.
So I took that shit and ran with it, and I made it to what it is today. So that's
a sacrifice,
yeah.
man. 2-3 times, days of the week, Houston, Austin. Dog, that's what you call sacrifice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes. Did you get paid for that?
No.
See, like sometimes, man, you just gotta just accept the fact that you know what, I love this passion. This is what I want to do. If I can't get paid for it,
Right.
I gotta take that sacrifice, man. Look now, this dude now, he's just not he's just not a Rockies media guy. This guy's one of the top 10 media guys in sports, bro, in NBA. Like this is crazy. This is a crazy story right here, man. Like, damn. So when it comes to the source, this is what I want to know. This when I come. So where do y'all be? Y'all don't gotta tell me specifically, but like,
Yeah, I'll tell you.
like when y'all break news, who is telling y'all these news, man? Like who's telling y'all this, man?
So the way you build your sources, it could be anybody. It could be, you know.
Because I know a guy who leaks information to people.
Yeah. So people talk.
Yeah.
The way the game is, it's a two-way street. You scratch
Okay.
my back, I scratch yours.
Okay.
When you're building your sources, the number one thing you want to establish is trust.
Okay.
They have to be able to trust you to give you information. At the same time, what can you offer them? Because at the end of the day, who the hell are you? Like, why am I telling you this if you can't help me with nothing? You know? So you meet people, you meet players, you meet agents, you meet GMs, assistant GMs. It can be anybody. But the number one thing about breaking news, you have to have more than one source.
Oh yeah.
Because if you I've seen people rush to put something out. And granted, when people say sources, they're not making it up. Somebody told them something, but it don't always be accurate. Because you got to fact check it with another. You know what I'm saying? It got to be multiple. So a lot of times, if you see Woj or Shams break a story, they didn't have it for a minute, but sometimes you got to get more out there. Like
that's crazy.
Like you hear certain stuff and you, like for example, crazy story, the James Harden trade, right? I heard it was done. I was at the game. The Lakers were in town.
Yeah.
I got a call saying the trade was done. And that was the night before he actually got traded to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But I couldn't put it out yet. Because only had
Do
one.
you regret not putting that out? Like, do you?
Of course I do.
Like, damn,
What?
I should've just-
Because think about it. That would have been game changer.
Ooh.
Like, you put that out that night that a deal was close to blah, blah, blah.
But it's like, I want to put it out.
But it's risky. Because if you are wrong,
Ooh.
that they will kill you on Twitter. They will clown you.
I know. I done seen some accounts try to be a source, and it's like, man,
Yeah.
it's like now when they tweet about stuff now, nobody pays it no mind.
Yeah.
So it's
like the boy who
damn,
cried wolf. Yeah.
That's crazy. Because I used to always think like, man, you just chilling at your desk at the barbershop. Somebody texts you, yeah, he signed for this. He want to leave. You just tweet it out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like, you got to confirm it with just not this person.
Yeah, you gotta fact check it because sometimes people they know part of a story, but they won't know the whole thing. So you have to. At the end of the day, it's your reputation on the line. It's your reputation. People trust you. They look to you for news. They look to you for stories. They look to you for sourced information. So you have to make sure that what you're putting out there is and that's why it's important. Sometimes it's cool to be first, but sometimes it's better to be right. You know what I'm saying? At some point, even if Shams or Woj put something out and you put it out 5 minutes later or something like that, it's cool. Like everyone, don't rush to be first every time. That's what I was saying. Build your source base because eventually you'll get something first for somebody. Like it's how the game goes. They can't get everything. There's so much stuff in the NBA on a day-to-day basis that they can't break every piece of news every time. Like Shams and Woj, they started out doing G League stuff, 10 days, international guys. Like eventually you build your base. Now, granted, that lifestyle is crazy because you have to be by your phone. I saw an article where Shams said that he's on his phone 20 hours a day.
That's crazy. My eyes would be so sore, bro.
Like, because you got to stay glued to everything.
How about you? How about you?
No, I don't do that. I do not do that.
So you don't be on your phone?
No, I'll be on my phone, but not like that because I'm not a news breaker. I break news, but I'm a storyteller.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, because that lifestyle is ridiculous. You have to literally be cold calling people all day.
So, season come around.
Yeah.
You were just at Summer League, right?
Yep.
During this season, how is it busy? Like, how busy is Kelly during the season?
I'm real busy.
Real busy.
Yeah, because once the season starts, you gotta take into account practice, shoot around, pregame, postgame. The stuff you got to actually work on, the longer stuff you got to work on, travel, all that adds up.
Even away games.
damn sure away games. Like,
Damn.
yeah, like if I gotta go to New York, they're playing the Nets now. I gotta fly to New York. It's a long ass flight. I gotta stay there for what, 2 days, 3 days, go work, cover the game, and the time difference. Cause you still gotta send stuff back to your editors. You guys, it adds up. So you see a lot of times in media, this period right now between the end of July and August is when they take their breaks, their vacations, stuff. Because come September, training camp.
Back on road.
So yeah, it gets busy. But during stuff like Summer League, it's good because like they're like these big ass reunions. Like you get to see people, everybody there around the league. You know what I'm saying? You get to have those connections, get more sources. People get new jobs there. Like it's crazy. Like Summer League, all those the combine, the draft, it's all crazy.
So, when Kelly got time on his hands, man, what is he doing? What is a nice thing he like to do, man? How does he reward himself? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does he do, man?
In my free time, obviously kick with your girl. You know?
Okay.
Go do some fly shit.
Hey, man, I be tweeting that every Friday, man. Do some fly shit with your girl.
Yeah, man.
Do that.
It's underrated. But listen to podcasts. I need to get back in playing soccer. Go hoop. I see you on the court in a minute.
I don't hoop, man. I be seeing y'all at the LA Fitness up there.
Yeah.
I be seeing y'all, but
hey, them boys can't hoop, man. Them boys LA Fitness All-Stars, man. But shout out to my guys, man. But yeah, just chill, relax, unwind. It's good to do new stuff and kind of, because NBA grind, I'm not a player or nothing, but working is still a grind. Like it's an everyday thing because your job does not stop.
Yeah, I can only imagine. This how they be traveling, y'all gotta travel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. So, how does your girl feel like being on the road? Like, she be missing you, man? Like, I know, because I can only imagine if I was in your position, my girl, I love her to death, but I know she would be, man.
Yeah.
I got a kid now, too. Like,
exactly. Well, I don't got no kid, but yeah, it's hard.
Dang.
It's hard because, like, you spend so much time around somebody, you're used to a certain day-to-day experience that whenever, and I hate it too, like in Vegas, I was there for like 5 days. I was ready to go by day 2. I was ready to come home. Like I need to come home to my baby. Like,
hey, I feel you though. You in Vegas, like, damn, my girl need to be right here in Vegas so we can get
hot.
Get some nice food, go to the club. I feel you though, man. I feel you though, man.
So, but like, it's good because now, at the same time, it's good to miss each other. You know what I'm saying? Because like, whenever you leave, you anticipate coming back and yada yada yada. But no, it's good. It's good. It's just, it's all a process. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Travel and all that stuff. It's all a process.
Now, getting towards the end, I want to ask you some questions, man, around the league questions.
Ooh, we got the good stuff coming on.
I want to ask you some questions, man. So recently, man, there's a lot going on with the Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie, KD.
Yep.
You know, what is your predictions on those two? Is KD going to stay? KD going to leave? Is Kyrie going to stay? Is Kyrie going to leave? What is your predictions? What is your sources telling?
I think they're going to both leave, but I don't think it'll be at the same time.
Okay.
So I do think the KD stuff is going to be a bit quicker, like before the season, because that has to get solved. Like, it's clear he wanted to leave. It's clear, he wants something different, and he should. Like, this is you only have one career. You can't waste your career trying to have regrets or I wasted many years here. I think it's gonna go, but I do think I think Kyrie might stay a little bit longer, maybe trade deadline. But I do think that KD's and it's crazy because KD's thing is holding up a lot of players that want to move too. I'm talking to a lot of guys, and it's like they're like trying to see what's going on with KD. Like that'll help because NBA is domino effect.
Yeah.
Once KD moves, boom.
Everybody.
A team that needs this player can go get him. A team that needs, Kenyon Martin Jr. can go get him. A team that wants Eric Gordon can go get him. So, I do think that situation will solve itself sooner than later. It might be close to the start of the season just because, this is the dead period of the NBA. People go on breaks, stuff like that. It's kind of hard to talk and stuff like that. But KD gotta leave, man. It's just like that Brooklyn thing. It's crazy.
It's crazy how in the NBA teams have these plans,
and they put James, KD, Kyrie, one team, and for the handful of games that they was together, it looked unstoppable. But then you dive into the player dynamics, the coaching dynamics, the ownership, management. It gets hard. James skipped town. KD next one to go. Kyrie, like it's hard to keep a track of because winning at the end of the day, it's such a critical thing, and it drives people and players to do certain things that when you don't get to that pinnacle, you look for an outlet. And that's kind of why it's kind of sad to see how Brooklyn is kind of crumbling down, because that was going to be the next dynasty.
Yeah, super team.
Like three guys, KD, like three guys that could shift NBA landscape. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of sad to see, but it's the rise and fall of NBA teams.
Another question. What is going on in LA, man? I mean,
oh man, where you want to start over there?
I mean, just like, what is really
It's a
going
mess.
on, man? I mean, does Westbrook really want to leave, or is the media lying, the new media, old media, are they lying on Westbrook? Did Rich Paul, is he behind all this? Is he making the moves? Is he leaking? Because it was an article recently about Russell Westbrook. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So what is going on, man? Is he staying another year? Is he sick and tired of LeBron James and Clutch Sports? Or is he, because we all know Clutch Sports runs the league. We all know that.
Right.
Man. Or does he want to go, man? Or can he even go anywhere?
The thing is that his contract is so much that you can't just move that. You gotta, and the Lakers are stingy. We've seen that. Mm-hmm. There was almost a deal done going to Indiana.
Yeah.
They didn't want to put another first-round pick on the table to get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. So it's like, what y'all really want to do? Like, we know that LA media and the national media, they're going to be on you 24/7. Mm-hmm. And last season was bad on all accounts. But, because Russ is Russ, and he don't like saying a lot to people, once he doesn't play well, it's going to be magnified. To the point where it's like, and the fit wasn't even good too. Like Russ playing next to Bron, like they both need the ball in their hands. Russ has never been great off the ball. He needs the ball in his hands as a point guard. He's a ball dominant guy. It's not like a Bron and an AD where AD can spot out, relocate, cut, all that stuff. And at this point in his career, Russ is not going to be some kind of Bruce Brown, point center where you're going to set screens and run to the paint. He's not going to do that. People are stuck in their ways, so you have to fit around that. So the question is, can Bron be more off the ball? But does Bron want to do that? Like, it's a whole dynamic. So then you throw in the Clutch Sports, then you throw in the Rich, like it's crazy. Like LA is like a movie, like a reality.
No, it is. It is a movie, man. Just like, oh man, it's just, LeBron's getting to his career. It's late, where I think he should play off the ball. I still think he should need the ball, like, you know what I'm saying? But we just got to see, man. I want to ask you one more question, man. And then, not one more question, but it's my last question on this segment right here. How the hell did y'all let John Wall finesse y'all? Like, how did he come to Houston and not play no games and just get paid like that, man? How did that happen, man? How did he ski mask the Rockets, man? Like, he literally hush puppy the Rockets, man. Like, he literally came to Houston, got paid, was at Camp Houston, Prospect Park, getting his checks, and he just bounced.
That was crazy. But I think to that point, it was kind of something where both parties knew what was up. Mm-hmm. John obviously wants to play, but the Rockets kind of wanted to develop or see what they have in KPJ, see what they have in Jalen Green, and they really believe that Kevin can be a point guard. So had they believed that he could be a wing player, John would have played. But because they wanted to play Kevin at the point, John was kind of the odd man out. Mm-hmm. And now, granted, the whole sitting down for a year thing was crazy. I still think to this day that was the craziest thing I've never seen that.
Boy,
like,
getting paid.
Paid to stay away from the but I mean, the game is the game. So the whole buyout stuff and getting that money off the table, at some point it's gonna be off the table. So someone gotta get that check.
Who was your 2023 NBA champions?
Oh, next year?
Yeah. Who gonna win it all, man? It's gonna be Boston. It's gonna be Tatum, KD. Tatum, KD. They gonna do their thing.
It's on wax.
Are they gonna do their thing, man? Or LeBron, AD? You know what I'm saying? Who gonna do their thing next year?
I
man?
think if they stay healthy, I think the Clippers got it.
Oh hell no!
I think so.
He said the Clippers.
I think so.
Huh?
They're gonna be in the mix. They're gonna make the conference finals.
Why the Clippers? Though? I want to hear though.
Because they're deep as hell from 1 to 8. They got 8 players that can go win now. PG, Kawhi, Norman Powell, Batum, Reggie Jackson. Now they got John Wall. They still got Zubac. Like they got Kennard. They're deep. Now granted, I don't think they're better than the Golden State. Golden State, you got to beat those guys 4 times. Period. You know, in the West. Everyone else in the West, if the Suns get KD somehow, some way, throw them in there. Just skip to May, skip to the parade, it's done. But right now, you got to show me that you've beaten Golden State 4 times. Mm-hmm. What team in the West is doing that? Memphis, no. Dallas, no. Lakers, hell no. Who else is over there? Utah, they're done. Like, it's not a lot. It's slim pickings right now. The Timberwolves, no. So the best team that can beat those guys is the Clippers. They're built at least to beat those guys. A lot of guys that can switch. Norman Powell, Robert Covington, Kawhi, PG. Like you have guys that can guard one, different positions. So that's going to be your best shot. Now in the East, it's any man's game now. Anybody's game in the East.
Anybody.
Because I don't put a lot of stock. I respect what the Celtics did last season, but they ain't had the hardest run to the finals.
Yeah.
They played Brooklyn, and they played a Bucks team that was depleted. Chris Middleton was hurt.
Yeah, key.
And then Miami.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's not the greatest test, So next season, Milwaukee gonna be back healthy. 1, Boston gonna be confident, and they got better. 2, Philly got better. 3, Miami's still there. 4. Yeah, those 4 guys. So coming out the East, if the Knicks get Donovan Mitchell, they're in the mix too. Like, shout out Francis. But I got either Clippers or Golden State. It's like you got to beat those guys 4 times.
Okay. Now, a couple last questions, man.
Yeah.
Breaking news happened, I think this morning or yesterday. Draymond Green
Man.
said he wants a max. He want a 4-year max.
Extension.
Is he gonna get paid, man? Is Golden State Warriors gonna give him that contract, or he gonna be cool on and go to LA, man?
They don't have a choice.
They don't have a choice. They give him that much. He can still give you everything.
Yeah. As long as they're winning, they know in Golden State, in San Francisco, they know that the most important thing is keeping that core happy.
Dynasty.
Keeping that dynasty together. You cannot risk letting that go as long as Steph Curry is living and breathing. That is the key to that dynasty.
That is true.
But Draymond is the engine. We've seen how they play without him on the floor. It's different. You need someone everybody clowns him because he can't shoot, whatever. He's a connector. He makes everything go.
He's the glue.
He makes everything go. So
Yeah.
the only problem is the luxury tax. That's where you got to talk about. I don't think that the luxury tax, how it's constructed, is fair. Because you're punishing those guys for keeping their team together.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to pay millions out the ass just to keep those guys. Because every dollar, every million you're above, you got to pay an extra. It's crazy. Ooh. Not to talk about, Poole about to get Wiggins. You got to pay those guys too. Like,
Draymond, I don't know, big guy. I don't know, man. You got to pay Pooley. You got a crazy year. You got to keep Wiggins. He's young. I don't know, Draymond. You might want to go to LeBron, Clutch, Hollywood. You might. I don't know, but that does sound right though. You got to keep the dynasty together.
You got to keep it together because
Clay,
because we've seen too many times in the NBA, teams get there, fall off, they never get back there again.
Damn.
So if you want to if you're gonna spend all this money on this team, you just bought a new arena. You want to keep those guys winning as long as possible. So it is gonna hurt your pockets a little bit, but the back end, the revenue, the back end winning, the price of winning is worth it.
They won 4 chips, man.
Exactly.
Now, let's say I just graduated college, or I'm in college, man. I'm in the media journalism game, man. Trying to find my way in this. what is some advice you can give somebody, man? Just that's trying to find his way. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is some advice would you give somebody right now that's in this field that you in? You know, they're probably looking at this right now like, damn, bro, I'm trying to figure this out. You know, what can I do?
The best advice I can give somebody trying to break in or advance is to not be afraid to talk. Don't be afraid to make those connections. Don't be afraid to ask those questions that may seem stupid, but things that show your intent, that you want to do something in this game, because journalism can eat you alive if you're not careful. Like, you can easily sink or swim in this game. You have to be able to ask those tough questions. You have to be able to set yourself apart, because everyone does the same thing at the end of the day, right? Why are you special? What is it about you that makes someone want to read your work, watch your podcast, you know,
Yeah.
hear your voice?
Yeah.
You got to be able to do all those things. So my advice would just be, number one, be yourself. Try new things. Like, don't be afraid don't get too comfortable. Try new things, ask questions, and make connections. You got to make connections. This business will take you as far as you need to go if you know how to talk to people. That's all I'm gonna say.
Who is like your OG? Like, who is that guy?
Yeah, I
that
got a
you
bunch
can-
of OGs.
But who is that guy that you feel like most definitely just like is responsible for who you are today, man? The media game. Give them a shout out right now if you know if they watch
Man,
this.
first of all, shout out Joe Blank at ESPN Houston.
you know what I'm saying?
He's the one that took me under his wing first and foremost. My first internship, he showed me the ropes. He gave me the reel, told me what to do, what not to do. Marcus Thompson at The Athletic, David Aldridge, you know, Chris Haynes,
Chris Haynes.
you know, guys
Heavy hitters,
that showed me love and just showed me the ropes, because this business can be kind of selfish sometimes.
I can only imagine.
People gotta look out for themselves.
Yeah.
Like, why should I give a fuck about you?
Yeah.
I gotta feed my family, gotta feed myself. Like, but those guys, they took it upon themselves to show me what to do. You know, Tony Jones, all those guys, like, and it's crazy. Even some of your peers, like people your same age, that you would, you know, people that give you advice, like guys like Fred Cash, James Edwards, like guys that you can communicate with on a daily basis, and Jared Weiss, like guys that can just help you. Chris, all my guys, like, this business can be very friendly to you if you play the right, but it can also be very hurtful if you don't. So it's good to have guys to look up to, and the guys that can always take time to give you the real and kind of help you with career paths, finding the right agent, you know, what not to do, what jobs to take, what jobs not to take. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah.
It's all a game.
Well, that was the episode 2, man.
Yes,
Kelly
sir.
Eco, man. Thank you for
Yes, sir.
coming here. Give us some good game, man. You know, he's the source. You know what I'm saying? Man, best wishes to you, man.
Yes,
Hope
sir.
you keep winning,
Yes,
keep
sir.
prospering
Yes,
out
sir.
there, dog. Eventually, a year later from now, we're going to run this back again.
Facts.
You
with
know
your
what
son,
I'm
with
saying?
your son over here.
Yep. Yeah, my son. You know what I'm saying? But thank you, brother, for coming here, man, so much. Sit down show. We out, man.